Robbie, always a pleasure to spend time in your company, but even more so after your heroics of midweek. We're going to talk about the Scottish Cup, of course, but it would be remiss of me not to look back at Wednesday night. Firstly, what was the buzz like for yourself?
That was brilliant. It was brilliant. Games like that don't come around very often, so you've got to enjoy them. And I thought the boys were absolutely excellent, considering the way the game went as well. Because after about half an hour, I think everyone thought it was going to be a long evening ahead. But we recovered really well, and we got a really good foothold in the game, and I thought that the boys were absolutely excellent to go and impose ourselves on the game like we did, coming up against a great team as well, because they're a very strong squad, and for us to overcome them, it went all the way to penalties, but with two subs and all the adverse effects around it with the conditions and stuff like that as well, it was a fantastic achievement for the boys to get through.
Not the Wednesday night you were anticipating at 5:25 on the evening of the game?
No, well, like the gaffer said in his interview, it was a late call, but it's something I pride myself on, to try and always be ready. No matter if I know that I'm not going to play or whatever, I still prepare the same. I still do the same things, no matter if I'm on the bench, not on the bench, playing. My processes and things like that remain consistent all the time, and I'm sure my wife doesn't really like that, but it's just something that I've sort of become accustomed to, and I'm always trying to keep myself ready no matter what.
How's the hand?
Yeah, it was good. It's fine. Like I've been out since the start of November, so a broken hand for a goalkeeper isn't really ideal. But I've worked hard to keep fit and stay fit when I was out injured. It's been a longer process to try and get back to top speed. You just got to slowly build yourself up. But for a couple of weeks previously, I was being fully fit. So I was, in terms of training and stuff like that, I was up to speed. So it was just a case of going out there and doing it and relying on my past experiences before, because I'd not played the games for a wee while, so I never played since October, I think it was. So you just got to try and call upon the 100 and odd games that I've had previously, and just try and get mentally as sharp as possible and to take yourself through a game.
We'll come on to the penalties, but let's talk about the kind of 90 minutes and extra time as well. You diligently give a kind of compliment to your back line and the players in front of you and the effects they had in the game. But what about your own performance? I watched back the match yesterday in preparation for tomorrow, and some really key blocks, particularly across that first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was busy in the first half, and that's your role as a goalkeeper, to try and keep your team in the game for as long as possible, especially when you're coming up against a bit of pressure. But it was good. I was obviously pleased to contribute, and that's what I train sort of hard for all the time and try and prepare for all the time. In terms of our training, all the goalkeepers do, we try and cover as many sort of bases as we can out there on the pitch. So all the aspects of goalkeeper we can possibly work on, we try and sort of tick them off in training, so when it sort of comes along in a game and you experience it in a game, you're good to go, and you've maybe experienced it in training in previous sort of weeks leading up to that.
Penalty kicks, we get through that. Second time you've done so in the Challenge Cup for Raith Rovers. We'll maybe a wee word about the Inverness game as well in the passing. But what caught the attention was more than the eyes was the ears. I was a bit worried that you were going to say to me as we started, "Come on, you've done your homework. Don't change your question." Tell us about that aspect of the game. You were polite, respectful, but you knew what you were doing.
It was slightly because I was on a yellow card as well for time wasting, so I couldn't really. But yeah, it's something that I've done for a long time, like in penalty shootouts, even when I was younger. Boys that have maybe played with me previously, growing up through the ranks and tournaments and stuff like that, I've always done it. So I hope I've kind of calmed down my demeanour a little bit moving forward. But yeah, it's just something I feel that I think it's important for all goalies to do. Like, we're at that stage of the game where obviously we're not favourites in a penalty shootout. The striker's expected to score, so you've got to try and do everything possibly in your power to try and win a game of football. And it's just something that I've tried to sort of get that wee extra edge over strikers. And look, sometimes it works, and I'm always a bit wary as well, because sometimes you don't look great after it, but it's probably something that you'll take the hit on if it leads to a win like last night. But I would never really like to come across in that way, but I'm only doing it purely to try and get that win.
We mentioned the Inverness game. At this stage we were kind of setting up one of my only kind of commentary things that I missed out on, and I really kind of consider it a bit of regret, was the game up at Inverness, where I was only Raith Rovers person there, commentating in the match, and as we started the penalties I thought, I should have got Scott Thompson to come and join me. He was sitting across from me, but I looked over and didn't see him, but there was a reason why he wasn't there.
I know, in the last round I remember we were playing and he was up watching the game, and my dad didn't realise that after the full time whistle it went to penalties, straight to penalties that night. He was thinking it was going to be extra time and it was going to be a long night ahead, so he was up in the house when I phoned him after the game, and he never seen my 2 penalty shootout saves in that game. But he stayed up. He made sure he stayed up last night, on Wednesday night, to watch it.
You made me more guilty now. If I'd asked him, maybe they'll be forced to stay to see your heroics.
What
is it about the goalkeepers or the Thompson family penalty shootouts? That's 3 that I've certainly seen us get over the line.
I just think in the moment it just sort of all comes together in a penalty shootout as a goalkeeper. Like the pressure's off, the pressure of the game and the decision making and things like that. All you've got to do is just focus on in the moment. And I've got to give a great massive bit of credit to our analyst Andy Tannehill, because for every game me and him sit down and we go through all the penalties, and we look. Tattoo looks from, that's his nickname by the way, for those that don't know, but he looks in incredible detail from penalties years down the line, some of the obscure games that we watched on Y-Scout to find out where the penalty's going to be played or where that person's took his last couple of penalties from. He's always very diligent with that, and we always make sure we do our homework. So we've got a sort of little base idea in behind where we're going to go and our decisions where to dive. So it's a team effort.
Let's come on to the Scottish Cup now, jumping tournaments. Motherwell come to Kirkcaldy tomorrow. How are you feeling about the game, and what's the sense in the squad? There must be some tired bodies out there even today. Yeah,
there'll be tired bodies, but I think big games like this don't really come around very often. So I think the tiredness and maybe any injuries or whatever, that's going to go totally out of people's mind when they realise the occasion that we've got tomorrow. There'll be a good crowd there, there'll be a great atmosphere, and there's a fantastic opportunity for us to go and try and get through to the next round. And I think any sort of things from during the week, it won't come into players' heads when they see the sort of atmosphere they're going to face tomorrow, and they'll just get stuck right into it.
Is there an extra buzz about the place today? Is there a sense when the tie's made that we're building up to something?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a good buzz about the place at the moment anyway, because of the run that we've been on. Within that run there's been games where we've drawn that we should have potentially won, but that sense of unbeaten, that feeling is really good to sort of knit together a feel-good factor within the playing group, and I think we've definitely got that. We've got a lot more resilient recently. We're a lot more harder to beat, and I think we're a hard opposition for other teams to come and play against. So whenever they turn up to Starks Park or we arrive at their place, they know they're in for a hard game.
Obviously we don't have any inside knowledge at this point of what Mickey and Ian are thinking by way of starting 11 and substitutes, so we'll widen the question out. Tell us a wee bit about your goalkeeping compadres. Tell us about the Keepers Union here at Starks Park with Andy and Jamie.
It's fantastic to come and work every day with 2 really, really good goalkeepers and really good humans as well, which is the most important thing I think as well. It's a pleasure. It's been a real good sort of challenge for me as well, because I got appointed player goalkeeping coach a couple of seasons ago now, and I've been working with Jamie McDonald since I got that role, and Jam has been absolutely fantastic with me, and he's been really receptive to all the ideas and the way we go about training on a daily basis, even our analysis as well. He's always committed, he's always sort of providing that extra sort of, he really sort of uses his knowledge really well to help myself, help others in the group, and he's fantastic to work with. Also Andy McNeil is a younger goalkeeper, obviously coming into the sort of group this season, but what I like about Andy is last season he was at Berwick and he played on a part-time level for them, but he came into Starks Park and trained with the goalkeepers every single day last year off his own back. He never got a penny for it, he never got anything for it, he just done it to try and be the best goalkeeper he can be. And this season when it came around, we were looking for a sort of another goalkeeper to add to our ranks, and because of the hard work and dedication he's shown, he deserved that little chance, and that's what I like to give people, sort of a really good chance, where the club obviously ultimately give him that chance, but because what he'd been through and what he dedicated previously, he's came in and he's done really, really well and grasped his opportunity too.
You mentioned the unity of the team, what are you expecting from Raith Rovers tomorrow?
Just exactly that. I think whatever team the manager puts out, I think we will make it hard for opposition. That's what I think over the past couple of weeks we've done really well. Teams coming to Starks Park as well. We'll probably have a bigger crowd tomorrow's, and it'll sort of really entice that atmosphere even more, and that will bring us even closer. And I think it'll be even harder to beat tomorrow, and we'll hopefully go and take the game to the opposition a little bit more. And now we're all really up for it, so we're looking forward to the occasion.
We all can't wait as well. It's an exciting afternoon ahead. So thanks as always for your time, Robbie, and well done.
No problem.